Hello, yogis, and welcome to this practice designed to help you wake up in the morning. So, this will be a gentle wake up. It's great if you're still feeling a little bit sleepy or regularly have a hard time getting out of bed. These practices can be done on your mat or right in the comfort of your own bed. So feel free to grab a couple of pillows and a blanket to support your comfort today. And I look forward to having this practice with you. All right, so let's get started. We will allow ourselves to come into a comfortable laying down position. So, however you want to support yourself and set yourself up, feel free to get into that position now, laying down on your back to start. Using any pillows or blankets you'd like to support you, just let your arms rest alongside you. Invite the eyes to close and starting our centering, just breathing in the awareness to the natural rhythm of your breath. Feel where you're connected to supports, your bed, the ground. Feel the body being supported from underneath, allowing yourself to sink in. Letting the jaw relax as you breathe, the shoulders melting down in to your supports, allowing yourself to find ease and comfort in the chest and the belly. The arms drape loosely, maybe even feeling a little bit heavy. And finding a relaxation and a softening in the pelvis, the thighs, knees, calves. And finally, the ankles, feet, and toes, allowing them to just relax in their natural position. Letting one hand come to the belly now, just over the navel, the other hand to the chest. Feel the breath in and out of the body. Notice the gentle rise and fall of the belly and or the chest. And we'll invite in some breathing practice this morning with the Ujjayi breath, the ocean sounding breath, gently contracting the back of the throat muscles as if you're going to snore with your mouth closed. So when you contract the back of the throat muscles, this creates a little drag of air as you breathe in and out that creates that wonderful ocean sound. So we'll try this now together. Letting the sound that the breath is making fill your awareness. And take a couple more of these breaths. You might notice that the inhales and exhales feel a little bit more elongated than your natural breath. This is great. This is helping you turn a little bit deeper within. And on your next exhale, go ahead and release the structure of your breathing. Let the hands fall gently back down beside you. And just notice here your natural breath once more. Using your next inhale, gently hugging the knees into the chest. Taking a couple breaths here with knees hugged in and maybe inviting in a slow, gentle rock from side to side, letting the spine massage against your practice surface, whether that's the floor or the bed. And with your next exhale, we're going to keep the left knee hugged in. Exhale the right leg out straight. Pull the left knee into the chest, giving yourself a squeeze here. 2 breaths. And exhale, open up the left knee toward the left. So we're going to let the left knee drop toward the floor. If it doesn't make it to the floor, that's absolutely fine. You can let it hover in the air, or if you've got a pillow handy, let a pillow come underneath the left knee. We'll spend some time here for a few breaths, just letting the left hip open, giving it a stretch on the inner hip. And inhale, left knee comes back to center. Give it a squeeze at the top of the inhale, hugging into the chest. And then exhale, let the right hand come to the outside of the left knee. Left arm is going to extend beside you in a T shape as you let the right knee roll over and fall down to the right. So we're going to come up onto that right hip, breathing here, letting the spine come into this twist. And inhaling, come back up to center. Hug the left knee into the chest one more time. And exhale, left leg stretches nice and long. Let's stretch everything out now. Take the arms up overhead. The toes point and the fingers reach in opposite directions. Big morning stretch here. Big breaths in and out. Take another big breath in through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth. Releasing and inhaling. The right knee now comes into the chest. Left leg stays nice and long. Give yourself a squeeze here in wind relieving pose. And exhale, opening up the right knee to the right, using any supports underneath that knee if you'd like. And allowing yourself to come into a couple of deep breaths here as we stretch the right hip open. Inhale, right knee comes back to center, giving yourself a squeeze here at the top of the inhale. And exhale, right arm extends into a T. Left hand comes to the outside of the right knee, and you're going to start rolling over onto the left hip, allowing the right knee to drop toward the left side of the mat or bed. Right shoulder is anchoring down toward your supportive surface. allowing the low back to come into a twist for one more breath. And inhale, bring everything to center, hug both knees into the chest now. And exhale, legs stretch long, arms are gonna reach up overhead, big overhead stretch. One more time. Spend a couple of breaths right here. Now let the arms float down back alongside you. And take the soles of the feet. We're going to bend the knees. The soles of the feet come together, letting both knees separate nice and wide. Hands can be gently on the tops of the inner thighs, providing a little guidance and support in allowing the knees to open. Breathe right here. Again, drawing the attention back to the support that you're feeling from underneath you and trying to work from head to toe, noting everywhere your body makes contact. So everywhere you feel supported from underneath. Inhale, guide the knees back upward. Feet are flat on the floor and stepping the feet close to the sits bones. Knees are pointed in the air, arms down alongside you, palms face down, pressing the palms, the shoulders, the feet into the earth. Inhale, gently lift the hips. And exhale, roll all the way back down. Letting the hips settle back down into your support. Inhale, gently lift. Keeping the knees nice and straight, thighs are engaged. And exhale, rolling the spine back down, letting the hips settle. Let's take a few more of these bridge pulses. Inhaling, lifting the hips. And maybe each time you lift a little bit higher, letting the chest open up toward the sky. And rolling back down on an inhale, on an exhale. Inhaling, coming back up. And exhale, rolling down. If you find a place where you'd like to hold your bridge, go ahead and do that for a couple of breaths, or you can keep pulsing. If you're holding your bridge, it might feel good to step the shoulder blades in toward each other, clasp the fingers behind the back. Big breath in here. And exhale, roll down. Step the feet wide and knock the knees together. Gently shift the knees from side to side. From here, start to let this movement settle to stillness in the next couple of breaths, and then make your way over onto one side. creating a gentle pillow with your arm, letting your head rest. Closing the eyes here, taking a couple of deep breaths. This yoga is designed to be supportive, soothing, a little bit slower at first to help you wake up. And so we're taking the time here to just pause and breathe. When you're ready, rolling all the way over onto your belly. Letting the hands come underneath the shoulders, hugging the elbows in. Let the forehead, nose, mouth, or chin rest on your surface. Press in through the feet and the pelvis on an inhale. Gently lift the head, gently lift the chest. We're using mostly our core strength here and not so much our arms. Our arms are just here for stabilization right now. And rolling back down on an exhale. Inhale, press through the pelvis, press through the feet, the thighs, lift the head, lift the chest. And exhale, roll down at your own pace, marrying the movement with the breath here. And just like we did with our bridge pose here in Cobra, if you find a place where you'd like to hold Cobra, go ahead and allow yourself to come into that. Being sure as you're holding to continue pressing through the pelvis, letting the shoulders melt down away from the ears, elbows continue to hug in, breathe deeply. And exhale, release. Let the forearms stack on top of one another. Inhale, bend the knees to lift the feet behind you and just take the feet from side to side. Little windshield wiper here. Exhale, let the feet rest back down on the mat. And bring the left arm is going to come out beside you in a right angle. So the elbow is going to bend at a right angle, left palm planted into the earth. Let the forehead continue to rest on the forehead or the cheek, continue to rest on the right forearm. And inhale, the left leg is going to bend here at a 90-degree angle. And breathe here in sleeping half frog. This is a restorative posture. Feel free to tuck a pillow underneath the chest or alongside the torso. Close the eyes here, a couple of deep breaths. Inhale, let everything tuck back in to center. Hands are going to come back underneath the shoulders, but this time we're rotating the palms so the fingertips turn toward each other. Elbows are out nice and wide. Forehead, nose, mouth, or chin continues to rest on the mat. Inhale here, press through the pelvis, lift the head, lift the chest. The left leg is going to bend at a 90-degree angle like we just did. And as you rise, start to look over the left shoulder in iguana pose. Breathe right here. We're going to hold this for 3 deep breaths. One more breath in. Exhale, release everything. Tuck the leg back in. Rest the forehead back down on the mat. And we'll come again into the other side. So inhaling, press through the pelvis. Right leg now bends out at a 90-degree angle as you lift the head and the chest. Start to gaze, turning the gaze over the right shoulder to look at the right leg. Breathing right here. 3 deep breaths. Last one. And let the head, the chest rest back on the earth. We're going to keep that right leg out nice and wide. And now the right elbow is going to come out to 90 degrees. Palm presses into the earth. Rest the left cheek or forehead onto the left forearm. Breathe here in half sleeping frog on the right side. Using any supports you'd like. Closing the eyes here if that feels good. One more breath right here as we pause and reflect on how the body is feeling so far in the practice. And release everything back to center. Stack the forearms on top of one another one more time. Let the forehead rest down. Inhale, bend the knees so that the feet are in the air. And this time we're going to circle the feet in one direction. Finding a comfortable spot to reverse directions of your feet circles. And on your next exhale, let everything float back down. Slide the hands underneath the shoulders again. And we're going to press up onto hands and knees, meeting in a tabletop position with hands stacked underneath the shoulders, knees stacked right underneath the hips. Taking a moment here to pause and breathe and find a neutral spine where your spine feels long from the tailbone all the way through the crown of your head. Engaging the core and inhaling, lifting the tailbone, letting the belly drop. The gaze starts to shift forward into cow. Exhaling, tuck the tailbone. Start to arch the upper back toward the sky as the head dips toward the chest in cat. Moving between these two with your breath, inhaling into cow, tailbone lifts, belly drops, gaze comes forward. And exhaling into cat, tailbone tucks, upper back reaches for the sky, head dips toward the chest. At your own pace, finding this movement and undulation of the spine, helping the body wake up and gently stretch. Take one more cat-cow. And with your next breath, find that neutral spine. Again, we're going to extend the left leg nice and long. Toes rest down on the floor. And let the hips gently rock from side to side. Finding a little stretch in the calf, the hamstring, the Achilles tendon. And one more breath cycle in and out. And pull that left leg back into tabletop. Inhale, extend the right leg nice and long. So same thing on this side. Let the toes rest on your support and gently find a little rocking on your hips that helps support some stretching in the calf and through that right leg. One more breath in and out. And inhaling, right leg comes back to tabletop position. Let's take the big toes together. Spread the knees nice and wide and exhale, send the hips all the way back to the heels. Letting the arms stretch out long here in extended child's pose, Garbhasana. Forehead rests on a support or right down on your mat, your bed, your floor, wherever you're practicing. If the sits bones don't reach the heels, that's absolutely fine. Just allow yourself to rest here with arms extended nice and long. We're going to take 2 breaths right here in child. And on your next exhale, slowly start to walk the hands over to the left side of the body. Hands stay shoulder width apart. Sit the right sits bone toward the right heel, finding a stretch in the right side body. So you might feel this stretch from hip to armpit on the right side. And if you need more of a stretch on the side body, just keep walking the hands over to the left. One more big breath here, in and out. And then inhale, start making your way back to center. Stretch here at center briefly. Creeping the hands forward just a little bit until you feel that stretch in the shoulders. Big inhale. And exhale, start to walk the hands over to the right side. Hands stay shoulder width apart. Let the head dip toward the floor. Sitting the left sits bone now toward the left heel. Breathing deeply into the ribs. Feeling the ribs on the left side of the body expand with each inhale. One more breath. And inhale, hands come back to center. Stretching here at center. Creep the hands forward just a tiny bit more. And inhale, pressing through the hands, starting to lift up. Keep the knees wide here. We're going to send the hips forward toward the top of your mat or toward your hands. Big breath in here. And exhale, moving through table, send the hips all the way back to child. Inhale up, moving back and forth at your own pace. Send the hips forward toward the top of your mat. And exhale, send the hips all the way back to child. If it feels good, when you send the hips forward, you can start to lift the feet, letting the feet arch up toward the head. And sending the hips back to child. 2 more to front and back. The next time you send the hips back to child, stay there. And this time you can let your hands, if you'd like to change hand positions, let the forearms stack on top of one another or make little fists, stack those on top of one another, rest the forehead down. Another great option is to simply let the arms extend alongside the body, rest the forehead or one cheek down on your surface. Breathe here. Remembering this is yoga for when you're feeling sleepy, so you may need some extra time to incorporate some of these movements. Feel free to pause the video anytime you'd like in order to take a little extra space in these resting postures. One more breath here. And inhale, pressing up through the hands. Let's meet back in tabletop with hands stacked underneath the shoulders, knees stacked right underneath the hips. Start to wag the hips back and forth from side to side. And when you feel comfortable with this movement, you can allow the shoulders to join the party here, almost as if you were snaking forward, letting hips and shoulders move. Feel free to let the arms bend, the elbows getting low, allowing the body to take any organic shapes in this movement that feel good for you. And slowing that movement down, coming back into a still tabletop, finding that core engagement. One more time here where your spine is nice and long from tailbone to crown of the head. Feel what that's like to feel grounded through the hands, grounded through the knees and the feet, and stretching from tailbone all the way through the top of the head. Walk the hands toward the torso. We're going to just kneel on the feet. And if that's uncomfortable, take a pillow and allow yourself to sit on that pillow, just protecting the heels a little bit. From this kneeling position, arms float up overhead, stretching here, and exhale, turn the palms away, let the arms float all the way back down. So we're working from laying down all the way to sitting up now. If you're practicing in your bed, you may feel like you're starting to wake up. Inhaling, letting the arms float up, and exhaling, the arms float back down. Couple more of these. Inhale to reach, and exhale. Last one, inhale, reach up, and when you exhale this time, we're going to exhale, the right hand comes to the left knee or left thigh, and the left hand is going to float behind you and either touch onto the back, allowing the ribs to open up to the left, or holding onto your surface, letting the fingertips rest on your practice surface. Pause here for a few breaths, just looking over the left shoulder. Feel yourself long through the sits bones, through the crown of the head. Spine is getting as much length as it can. And inhale, unwinding to center, letting the arms come out wide and up overhead. One more time, stretching here at center. This time moving to the other side. Left hand is resting on the right thigh and right hand is going to come behind you, either resting on your practice surface or just folding that hand to touch or rest against the lower back. Looking over the right shoulder and breathing deeply here. One more big breath. And then inhale, unwind, send the hands to the sky. Big stretch here. Interlace the fingers. Turn the palms away toward the ceiling. And stretch here. Inhaling in. Big exhale through an open mouth. Send the hands down. Slowly turning the ribs from side to side, reaching the palms away from you. And when the hands get to the lap, let them release. We're going to transition into sitting on our sits bones. So removing any cushion or pillow that you may have been using to support you and letting the legs swing out to the side. Sitting down in the sits bones with the legs out in front of you, nice and wide. Let the hands come and rest behind you. Inhaling here, letting the sits bones ground, the head reach long, and exhaling. Knees fall from one side to the other. Inhaling to center and exhaling, knees fall to the opposite side. The little windshield wipers. To take this deeper, the next time the knees are to the right, the left arm can swoop around and you can start to open the ribs up to the right, gazing behind you. Inhaling, bringing everything back to center. And exhaling, right arm can sweep open, letting the ribs twist open toward the left. So feel free to take this to any level that you'd like. If it feels good for you as you're sweeping one arm across the body and twisting the ribs open, you can also lift the hips a little bit. Well, find your pace, find your rhythm for your own practice. Continuing to marry movement and breath together. Take one more each side wherever you are, however you're practicing this. And then let yourself settle on an inhale back to center. Let the feet, the soles of the feet, come to touch each other one more time. Grounding through the sits bones. And letting the hands come to ankles, calves, or shins. And finding a balance where you're nice and tall, reaching through the sits bones, reaching through the crown of the head. Inhale, the chest comes forward a little bit as you hinge with a nice long spine forward. Hold right here. Feel how it feels to lean into this stretch with a long spine, opening up the hips. And then if it feels good, on an exhale, you can let the back start to bow over. So this is where the spine can round a little bit, the head dips, really easing into this bound ankle or cobbler posture. If it feels right for you, gently letting the elbows press into the inner thighs to open up the hips a little bit more. Breathing deeply here, feeling a stretch in the upper back
the back of the neck as the chin drops toward the chest, as well as down along the spine, letting shoulders melt away from the ears. Engagement in opening up the hips. You might feel that stretch on the inner thighs, as well as the outside of the hips. One more deep breath here. And inhale, slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. The head comes up last. Good. Let's meet in a tabletop position again. Swing the legs to the side. We're getting ready to transition here off of the bed if you're practicing on your bed. So if you're practicing on your bed, let your feet swing off the edge of the bed. We're going to meet standing. If you're here with me on a mat, let's take this moment in cat cow. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the tailbone, gaze comes forward. We're going to just stretch that spine one more time. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, reach the upper back, dip the chest, dip the head toward the chest. Find your neutral spine and then inhale, left leg steps forward to the top of your mat. So yogis who are practicing on your mat, we're transitioning to standing. Those who are practicing in bed or on a couch, you're going to transition to standing by swinging your feet off of the bed and gently finding grounding in the feet. So let's step up here. Inhale, lift that back leg and step yourself forward so both feet are at the top of the mat. So yogis on a bed, plant your feet and slowly roll up. Yogis on the mat, we're rolling up from the top of our mats, one vertebrae at a time. Everybody is meeting here in mountain pose with feet hip width apart. Shoulders, inhale them up to the ears. Give yourself a squeeze and exhale, roll them back and down away from the ears. Turn the palms open to face in front of you. Close the eyes here. Feel yourself reaching tall from ground all the way through the top of the head. Fingertips root toward the earth here. And breathe deeply, noticing the body stacked, feet, knees, hips, torso, chest, shoulders, head, all in one long, beautiful line. Feel the strength as you root through the feet and rise through the head. Big energy here. If you'd like, inhale, the arms come up overhead into a wide V, socketing the shoulders back into their places away from the ears. And if you'd like even bigger energy this morning in mountain pose, lifting onto the tippy toes, breathing right here. Feel yourself coming alive with energy. And exhaling, coming back down onto the balls of the feet. Place the palms together and send them down the midline of the body. Hands come and rest here at heart center. Close the eyes. This is where we take our closing meditation, our closing breaths. Setting ourselves up for a beautiful day.
Take a bow to yourself, thanking the body for showing up, the mind for being present, and the heart for being open. And a second bow to each other in this space that we share virtually. Thank you for joining me in today's Wake Up Morning Yoga practice, Jai Bhagwan.